This episode of the Verdict Podcast is brought to you by Impressive, the smoking accessories company. Impressive makes stylish, luxury smoking accessories for the young millennial. These products not only come at a great price, but are only meant to be purchased one time. They have premium matte grinders, electronic lighters, and multifunction vape batteries. Impressive also provides free shipping all over the U.S. Visit smokeimpressive.com and use our code VERDICT to get an additional 10% off when you check out. That's smokeimpressive.com using promo code VERDICT. And now, let's get to it.
I'm joined right now by one parent, Lizette Rosenblatt, a mother whose daughter was thankfully able to escape from the school unharmed. Lizette, first of all,
today, something we never thought we'd experience.
What up? Welcome to episode 62 of my premium podcast experience, the Verdict Podcast. I'm your host, Splash Jordan. Joined with me today, who do we got?
Of course, the lovely Noah Nee.
This is the last episode before the live show.
It is going down.
I can't tell whether I'm more like can't wait to get it over, or it's just like, oh man, So I'm going through a lot of emotions right now.
Yeah, the anticipation up until now has been pretty killer. I've been trying to kind of keep it off of my mind because it makes me anxious, but I'm like, Lego.
Make sure you're in the building. Make sure to get your tickets. You can go to thehouseofsplash.com, click on the link live show. Scroll down, get your tickets there. Tickets are $10 in advance, $15 at the door. Don't say I never did anything for you. We'll be giving away 2 tickets to Dreamville Festival to someone in the building. So if you want those tickets, show up, play somebody's going to come on stage, play Two Truths and a Con. We got 3 a.m. We have Q Median, Mike Mello. Whole thing is hosted by ZZ, Unplug the Love, and also Kingpin Santiago. Among others. I've been told that there's some special guests going to be there. Some special guests are going to be there. Definitely don't want to miss all of that. Plus, Johnny's Pizza is going to be there providing food and drinks. We'll have some vendors there selling some merch as well. And the whole thing is going to be at King's, 14 West Martin Street in Raleigh, North Carolina. Wednesday, April 3rd. I think the show gets started about 8:30. So we're not going to be there all night. And I'm not holding, I'm not holding no lines. I'm not, trying to fill the room. Y'all niggas need to bring y'all ass so we can, get in there and get out and get on with the rest of our evening, all right? So I'm using this new vape pen that I got from Smoke Impressive. I'm rocking with it. Cartridge was not included, but definitely for all your smoking needs, grinders, vape batteries, electronic lighters. I'm waiting on, they were sold out of electronic lighters when I went, but I'm waiting on them to restock electronic lighters. It's got a dope one. It's something, I don't know, I'm on the fence because I lose a lot of lighters, but I just feel like, if I'm spending money on one,
you're going to take better care
yeah,
of
I'm going to hold on to it. So make sure you use code VERDICT, VERDICT, when you check out for additional 10% off your order, smokeimpressive.com. So what's been up with you? We had a couple of mishaps.
Man, work, drama, work,
right.
Positive vibes. That's all we do.
Right. Work, drama, work, drama. That basically sums up my life.
Right?
I wonder, am I ready to just jump straight into what I want to tell you? Let's first discuss what's going on with Cardi B. An older video of hers recently resurfaced, basically her implicating herself in some crimes from a past life.
Yeah.
Niggas must have forgot, my nigga, the shit that I did to motherfucking survive. I had to go straight. I had to go, oh yeah, you wanna fuck me? Yeah, let's go to this hotel. And I drop niggas up and I rob them. That's what I used to do. Nothing was motherfucking handed to me, my nigga, nothing.
Which is what people love to do on the internet, telling themselves. So in this instance, though, she was I won't say bragging, but she was certainly stating that she used to have to do some things, to get by. Now, when I heard that initially, I wasn't shocked. I mean, I knew the lifestyle that she was in, and I know people who are in that lifestyle now, and that's things that they talk about doing
Yes.
I'm assuming that that's just something that kind of goes down in their lifestyle. However, a lot of people feel like, well, wait a minute now. Wrong is wrong.
Indeed.
Wrong is wrong. And, you're breaking crimes and you're doing things that if, the roles were reversed would be considered predatory. What's going on. Mm-hmm. So where do you fall on that? Do you feel like if roles were reversed that we would look at it differently, or do you feel like she was just kind of doing what she needed to do to get by?
I would say for sure that if the roles were reversed, it would definitely be looked at differently. Simply because it's a man doing the act towards a woman, and we already know a woman's supposed to be or is more vulnerable. However, a crime is a crime. It does happen more than people probably talk about, but I don't really think it makes it right, and I don't think it had to go that far for survival. I mean, we've all seen pictures of Cardi with how much money she had on stage, her stating that, hey, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z for blah, 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 meet you back to the hotel room. Like, bro, you had already racked up for the night. Like, if you weren't going to do X, Y, and Z, why even put yourself in a situation when you already knew that you had the money made for the night and that you were going to do it again the next night as well?
My problem with that type of logic is that, especially given how young she is, so many people, like even under the age, like Cardi B, and she's like 24, 25.
She is very young.
So at the time we're talking about, she's like 18, 19, 21, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
And, it's just wild how quick these young people are just so willing to just, oh, I don't have any options. There's nothing for me to do. I got to go straight to stripping. I got to go straight to fucking selling my body. I got to go straight to selling drugs. And from my understanding, Cardi B had parents who cared and, who worked and were involved. Maybe didn't have the most luxury items, but were providing, a life. So that whole, like, you making it sound like, oh, if I didn't do these things, I was going to be, my whole family going to be evicted. Or if I didn't do these things, when in reality, it's like, okay, if I didn't do these things, I couldn't live the life that I wanted to live.
That lavish life.
Right.
Because your mother couldn't provide it or your father couldn't.
Right. Or they were too strict and they wanted me to live this lifestyle. So it's like, okay, I'm definitely I would never knock another person's hustle, but I just hate that line. It's like, like you had options.
Yes,
just like, most of us do. Most of us had an option. Most of us have a choice. And, just because, school, and I'm not a person who's like, oh, you could have gone to college, because fuck college. But there's plenty of other things you could have done before. It's like, let me sell my body.
But see, the thing is you think about selling drugs, selling your body, whatever it may be. What is the common denominator? Quick access to money. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to really work hard for shit. But to me, it's like, damn, you're working double hard, shaking your ass just to get it. Now, you get it quicker because of what you're doing, but you're still working hard. It's just in a shorter amount of time, which has, the quick spending area, but you're going to get it right back. So you get addicted to that. You know what I'm saying? So it's by any means necessary, but really you only did it because it was a quick fucking return.
Right. It's very easy for you. It's not,
Exactly. Instead of working a 9 to 5 and having to wait 8 hours, 2 weeks, maybe even 1 week for a freaking check versus me clearing $3K in a night. Yeah, it kind of makes me want to shake my ass too, but it's like, there's so many other options that I could put the same mentality, same hustle towards and get a bigger fucking return in. I just got to put the diligence and time in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I guess we're on the same page as far as, wrong being wrong. And I've said on here plenty of times, like, I don't excuse things that, male entertainers do. Like, I don't think that shooting and killing is funny or cool. I don't think that it makes you cool. I don't think that, just because you sell drugs doesn't make you cool. I mean, you can be a cool person selling drugs, but, bragging about, I sold crack and it's just like, well, whatever, dog. Like, but all these, crimes that we implicate ourselves in. And to me, that's crazy that we constantly, one thing my mom used to always say is that you teach people how to treat you.
True.
And so if we if I'm constantly telling you about all the illegal shit I'm doing, all the fucked up shit I'm doing, all the, underhanded things I'm doing, how would I expect you to act towards me?
Right.
How would I expect, you to talk about me when I'm not around? When I'm constantly showing you all this fucked up shit that I'm doing, like, even if this is what I'm doing to get by, at least have some couth and dignity to, keep some things to yourself.
Exactly.
Hold the mystery in. Like, like a lot of things I had to do.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of jobs I had to work.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of things I had to do that I didn't want to do. But, that was a part of the journey. But I'm not finna just go on live and be like,
no,
man, shoot, let me tell you, like, no, thank you.
No, if I didn't get caught, I'm not gonna snitch on myself. But see, that's where that's another thing. She didn't get caught. That's the only thing that makes it different. And even R. Kelly and them didn't technically get caught in the act. They had people going against them. No man is going against Cardi to say that she fucking drugged them and robbed them, because it's like, damn, you let a whole lot of bitch get you like that,
I know. I'm waiting so I can say that.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's
so
gonna be jokes
nobody's
galore.
gonna do that shit. So the fact that she didn't get caught and she snitched on herself, y'all wouldn't have fucking known if she hadn't told you. So that's kind of how she feels in even saying anything, because I know I saw her response and I'm like, hold on, let me catch what happened. And I saw it and I'm like, damn. Started seeing the memes, the most funniest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life, but it's like, I get both sides completely. That's what I can say.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not super, vested into it. And it is because I do feel like we've taught people how not to respect or care about, black heterosexual men. But, I don't get into labels like that. It's just, life just is what it is.
Yes, it is. And it's a fucking box of chocolate.
Yeah,
you never know what the fuck you're going to get.
You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes that shit is good. Sometimes that shit
trash.
is bad. All the way horrible. Like,
okay.
Like I'm going to spit it out. Like,
garbage. I don't even want it. That's the one where you like have just a bunch of halves and it's like, those are nasty. Don't even try them.
Don't go to that.
Don't go there. That one, don't do it. Don't do it.
That might as well be an ex. This might as well be that that apartment you got in college. Like, don't do this. Don't do this. This is bad right here. This is
that
bad.
job you thought was gonna work. No.
Yeah, like, so, it just is what it is. So, but it's just interesting to see, like, how when you're in favor of the public, how they will protect you. And it's just like, okay, this is what this is what happened with your favorite celebrities now.
Yes.
So don't be like 20 years later and here come this line of men saying like, yo, this a long time ago, she drugged me and robbed me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why people can do whatever they want to do.
Right.
Because when you're our favorite, it's just like, no, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like, that's how people feel. Like, I don't give a fuck. And they're defending her.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, this is how behavior continues to spiral and why people who
and the
are...
next does it because she got away with it. Absolutely.
Right.
It's a cycle of shit.
And my biggest problem with it, though, is that for her to have reached the level of success that she has reached, she's constantly basically telling people who want to be like her, this is what you got to do. You got to fuck, your way through these many niggas. You got to, constantly, sell yourself as a sexual object.
Mm-hmm.
There's this is the path to success.
Mm-hmm.
And so of course, people who want to be in her position, that's how they're going to act.
Exactly.
That's how they're
going to act. It's not even just her. Like, she's the queen of that right now. But at the same time, like, there's been so many people beforehand. Like, look at Amber Rose,
right?
Black China. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not in the rap industry, but they do enough around that people know who they are and think that it's okay to do that. Like, what are you guys teaching the little girls of this world? Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess when we were younger and we're not even that old, it's like we knew who Harriet Tubman was and Rosa Parks, and these motherfuckers were in like, dresses buttoned all the way up, all the way to the floor, like everything is covered. Even let's bring it fast forward some. Lauryn Hill, she was an activist. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, fully clothed.
I mean, and I'm not bashing anybody for doing how they gotta live.
Be naked if that's what you want to do, but
it just seems like that's everybody's,
I see more ass and titties and twat than I see anything else of any woman teaching a little girl to actually do something better with herself, fully clothed, and actually have other avenues. Now, take for granted there are some out there that are doing it, and they're doing a really good job of really empowering little girls, but it's not enough compared to how many hoes we have in the world.
But that it's like a two-player problem, because they do that because of, you know, how many men, you know, accept this base level attention, you know, from these women. It's just like,
okay,
you know,
but what are men driven by? Sex. So if you're gonna sit here and show me ass and titties, what you think I'm gonna do? I'm a fuck. I'm a girl and I would do some shit like that if I was a dude. Like, you're showing me how you want me to treat you, like you said, and that's for me to just fuck you and go on about my business.
Right, but as a man, especially if I'm like a rich and successful man, so many women are throwing ass and vagina at me that I don't want to sit here and discuss nothing with you if you're not fucking. Like, and even then, all we're discussing is if you fucking, and then once we fuck, I rush away. I might leave you some money, but I rush away. So it's like, you know, I've conditioned you to act this way, but, you know, now that you're acting this way, it's kind of like, you know, unattractive. You know, it's just like, you know, you need to relax.
I need a wife.
Right. So it's all stupid.
It's very stupid.
It's all stupid.
It's a cycle of shit, like I said, like a fuck shit.
So,
come on with it.
I got to tell you something, right?
Let me tell you.
So, and this is the other thing that we're going to discuss.
Okay.
I was recently working for a company. Mm-hmm. I've told you all about the company and what I was doing for them. Mm-hmm. And so, a time came, actually, and I'll tell the listener, I host live events, trivia, music bingo, stuff like that, right? At venues. And so I was working for a company. I told you about it, and I told you how many I was working, you know, multiple nights out the week for this company. The time came where it was necessary for me to, the communication, several things just weren't what I wanted. And I felt like I was doing a lot more work than what I was being paid for. So I told that company, after these next 2 weeks, I won't be available to host anymore. Sorry to see you go. Da 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 da. What are you gonna be doing? Mind your business.
Of course.
Whatever. I go now. Mind you, I've been working for this company like somewhere between 6 to 8 months. Going to the same venues almost. You know, going to damn near for 6 to 8 months.
Right.
So, I tell the venues, hey, you know, after these next 2 weeks, I'm not coming back. You know, I'll see you. It's all love. I'm doing my own thing. The venues say to me, how can we keep you? I say to them, well, we can do this. You know, if that's what you want.
Right.
You need to let them know, you know, hey, you're going another direction. And then, you know, me and you can go in our own direction.
Right.
So I entered into an agreement with 2 of my venues. And so, like about 2, you know, time goes on. I do 2 weeks. It's, you know, I'm about to set up, you know, at one of the venues for the first night, you know, on my time. My quote unquote trainer, like I've seen him like, you know, twice before. He's like the guy I met at first, like, you know, the first time, and they kind of, you know, show you this is how we want you to do it.
Right.
So he pops up. He's like, you know, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm about to get started with my show. He's like, I thought you weren't hosting anymore. And I said, no. I'm not hosting for you anymore.
Right.
But I'm still doing, you know, I'm doing my own thing.
Right.
And he was like, you know, oh, so you're stealing our show. And I was like, that's a wild, you know, like, calm down.
Right.
Calm down. I didn't steal anything.
Right.
You know, like, you know, careful with what you say.
Right.
And so he's like, yeah, you kind of are. And I'm like, well, I was asked to be here.
Right.
They want me here.
Right.
Doing what I'm doing. So he said that doesn't matter. That what I was doing was infringing on their intellectual property, their confidential proprietary ownership.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the way that they do things, the process.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, of bingo?
That's been around for years when
Like,
you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, you're talking about bingo. You're talking about music bingo. Like, you know, if you Google music bingo, Raleigh, if you just Google music bingo, like 1,000,009,
Right.
you know, whatevers
Right.
are going to pop up.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? This isn't something that, you know.
It's brand new.
Brand new.
You
This
just
isn't,
invented it. No.
Right. This isn't something that just us two are doing. You know, like 50 million people on this street are doing this.
Right.
Also, and actually here, I got one of these sheets in front of you, right? So it has the website. You know, that's the company that like designs the sheets.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so someone else is designing the sheet. We're playing other people's music off of Spotify. What do you own? What here is owned by you?
Right.
Like none of this is yours, dog. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and I'm like, I'm printing these sheets on my own. Like, I'm doing all the work. Like, no, I'm not stealing anything. In fact, I'm working hard and I'm building a relationship. He's like, well, you wouldn't have the relationship if it wasn't for me. And I'm like, well, so what? Like, you know, like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, the venue doesn't care about that. They care about the guy who's in here, who's
Every time.
Yeah, like, you know, so like, what do you can't you're not gonna capitalize off of my relationship, like, you know. So if you know what I'm saying, like, if they wanted to stay with you, they would have. So
Right.
basically threatened legal action against me, saying that they were gonna sue me for, I guess, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I hadn't done the show, like, you know, before I even showed up, and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm working, and you kind of interrupting me, you know, while I'm at work. So, I leave. No, what happens is that he's like, you know, he was like, he wanted his stuff, you know, I guess talking about like, you know, the microphone and the speaker stuff, and I'm like, I use one of those to host a show.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, dude, that's my mic. Like, you know, the money you gave me, I kept it, but I'll give you your money back, or I'll buy you some new equipment. But you know, you got to give me my last check first.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, he's just like, you know, no, I want my stuff. And I'm like, what stuff do you want? He's like, and I want my sheets. And I'm like, I printed this on my paper, like with my ink. Like, these are my sheets. And he's
Right.
like, you know, but they're all rounds and I want them. And so, like, I was like, you know, no. And so I went, like, I had already passed that sheets out. So I went around and, like, got the sheets back. And as I'm walking back up, he was, like, going through my things, which was like, you know, okay, here we go.
Watch closely. You're about to experience a nigga moment.
All right, so,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, here we go. Now you're talking to some brooms. Okay,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You know, you got your face into the corner now. You know what I'm saying? Like, do not touch my things. Like,
Right.
you know, what you're doing is actually stealing.
Right.
And, you know, so he didn't, you know, he wanted zero smoke after that, of course. And, you know, but he was still just running his mouth. So I just left because I don't want no drama.
Right.
I left. I get a call from the main guy. He's like, blah, 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 you know, legal action, doing all this talking. And so I'm like, dude, you know, I don't have to explain myself to you. I don't work for you. I don't work with you. I don't work under you. We are nothing.
Right.
You know, all we got to do is just, you know, give me my last check. And, you know, I just got to pay you. I just got to give you the money back. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? That's all we need to be discussing. So he's just like, you know, whatever. So I get a text message from him the next day. And he's like, you know, I spoke to my legal team. And they say, you know, you know, if you want to continue hosting and doing your own thing, then we won't interfere with that. And, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking, you can't interfere with that. You know, you telling me that is like saying that, you know, red means stop and green means go. Like, I already know that. Dog. Like, you won't interfere because you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So then he's like, you know, but you can't, you know, do business with any of our former or current clients. I'm like, I don't know who your clients are. You also can't, like, you can't tell me that. Like, you can't tell me where I can and can't conduct business.
Right.
Forever, from now until the end of time.
Why do you think people have competition?
People sign contracts,
Non-disclosures.
And non-competes, and they have, strict rules and parameters. The company you're working for now, if they would say, you can't work for our competition for 6 months, for a year. After that, you're free to go do whatever you want, but you can't take, what you've learned here and go, work at my competition, and you sign off on that when you start working. But I didn't sign off on nothing like that.
Right.
And in fact, when we had a conversation before I started doing any of this, I was like, look, I'm doing this to kind of like get my chops up so that I can do this on my own. Like, I'm not trying to work up underneath you and making, chump change for the rest of my life. Like,
right.
what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to get relationships, practice, experience.
And go do your thing.
Right. And go do my thing. So, I didn't respond to it. I was just like, whatever, man, fuck y'all. So like a week later, which was like yesterday or the beginning of this week, I get a text message from a number not saved in my phone, and it's like, Jordan, I've been instructed to, collect the equipment and da 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 da. And I'm like, dude, first of all, I'm like, who is this?
Right.
That's question number one. Who
right.
are you? Identify yourself.
Right.
And the person was just like, if my manager, and I'm like, all right, well, as I told, these people last week, I don't have nothing that you're talking about. Everything that I have belongs to me, but y'all got my last check. Just take what I owe you out of my check. Or just, give me my check and I'll give you what I owe you.
Right.
You're stealing, again with the stealing. Again with the you're stealing, any money you make is going to be tied up in legal fees. Okay, so the next day, I communicate with the guy. My boss, and I'm like, yo, bro, like, I thought y'all wasn't interfering with nothing I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah, somebody is harassing me, and, they're bothering me, and I've told them what the deal is. Like,
right.
I've already explained to them what can happen, and, what we need to do, but, they're still bothering me. He's just like, oh, if you mean your manager, he's contacting me. I'm like, I don't work for you. He's not my fucking manager. Like,
right.
I don't know him. I don't want to talk to him, dude. Like, fuck him. So it's just been one long thing, and it just shocked me because I've done a very good job of like skating around any legal matters. This is the first time that anybody's like bucked up against me and been like, we're gonna try to keep you down.
Yeah.
They these people sent me one box of like bingo cards. And that was basically it, and some envelopes to mail the checks back. But haven't checked on me, in any other form or capacity.
Right.
Like, for all they know, I'm doing whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, okay, you spent more energy, like, and not only that. So since then, I've been going on my own to, venues. And I'm like, hey, my name's this. I host lots of events, blah, 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 blah. And so a few places I've gone, they're like, well, I'm going to pass your information on because, we got a guy who's doing it right now. Like, I was in a place last night. They were like, we got a guy who does it right now, but as you see, he's not here. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, I already know what time it is. Does that happen often? They were like, not often, but, he's late, blah, 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 this, that, and third. And I was just like, I left the company. They were just very unprofessional. I didn't want to deal with them anymore. And so she was like, I can't think of the name. And when I went and looked at they keep the signs of advertisements at the front of the venue. And when she showed me the name, I was like, yeah, that's the company I just left. Like, so the dude who's spending all his time chasing me, I was doing y'all a favor. Yeah. Y'all had more venues than you could even handle.
Yeah.
And you mad at me because I'm like, yo, like, I'm finna take some from me.
Right,
and go,
right,
I'm going to take some for me and go
right.
be over here. You can't even hold your shit now because you too busy chasing me around to see what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm like, some people.
Yes.
Some people got the game fucked up. Like, I'm like, dude, this is why people want you to leave and they want me to come in there.
Right.
Number one, because I got some sauce and you don't.
Right.
That's off rip. Like, I got some sauce and you don't. And not only that, I got way more professionalism than you.
Right.
The way I act in there is what I'm saying? Like, it's a different type of gig for me because I just treat being the center of attention differently
Right.
than other people do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm behaving this way, but I'm really trying to sell you.
Right.
The whole thing is one big sale. I don't know what we selling. I don't know what's being sold or bought, but I know if you got some money, then we're going to talk.
Exactly.
So that had I knew that was a long-winded story, and it's kind of consumed me for the last 2.5, 3 weeks at a critical time when I'm supposed to be planning a live show. It kind of derailed me, and it was just it got to me, the negative, energy, somebody just being you can't do, what everybody else on this street is doing strictly because it's going to hurt my pocket.
Right.
I'm bro, that's the cost of doing business.
Yeah, you have to have competition. Don't get mad when you have it.
Yeah, I'm that's the cost of doing business. You just mad because, all that money that you were getting, you're not going to get. And
you were paying me pennies for shit.
Right. Nah, dude. You know what I'm saying? All I needed was an infrastructure. And now I'm gone.
Right.
I'm gone to go do my own thing. And I'm so it just, I don't pull the racism card. But what I will say is that they thought they were dealing with somebody who was, not as intelligent, But I do a very good job, If I'm being honest, that's one of my tricks. I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Jack of all trades, being able to be a chameleon. Do what you need to do.
I wouldn't say that.
No?
One of my tricks, and this is free game. One of my tricks is to appear less capable. That's one of my tricks. I get in my bag when I'm like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it just, people view you as when you display how capable you are, people may be threatened by you.
True.
And they'll move to block you.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to let them know, first of all, you're not gang. You're not at all. You're not crew. You're not gang.
Okay.
And you're dealing with a 10,000-year-old shark over here. I mean, of course, as soon as I figured it out,
right.
I'm like, yo, give me this. Give me all of this.
Right.
And we gone.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't understand them being mad. It's just just calm down before you make me mad.
Right.
Calm down before you make me mad. And, you know what I'm saying? You lucky all you was doing was talking to some brooms, because it could have gone down a different way. So I'm just, so I'm still dealing with it. More to come. I'm sure there'll be more to come because nothing's been settled. Nothing's been resolved. And I'm still doing my thing.
Just read up on your laws to make sure you get your ass covered. That's all I'd say.
Well, yeah. So I had to get, I've been, that was one of the reasons why I've been so preoccupied. I have been speaking to different lawyers and, being advised, how to maneuver, and what can happen, what to say when things, when this happens. So, right. and those conversations weren't free. Most were, but a couple of them were not,
right,
by any means. So, that was a long-winded story. So, moving on from that, let's talk about roll call. I do have some new people for the role, right? Are you familiar with Fantastic Adventure? It's a show that comes on YouTube. It's basically about these kids. It's it's a show that kids would watch on YouTube. It's the kind of video that Momo would, infiltrate.
Oh, fuck.
It's about these kids and, this family, blah, blah, blah. So, I can't read my own writing, but I think her name was Michelle Hackney. But she's the mother from Fantastic Adventure. She's the mother of the children. And she went to jail basically for forcing the children to do certain things and forcing them to, perform under certain conditions. Like if you didn't say your lines right, she would, beat you.
Damn.
Or, there was severe punishment. So it was just wild to see because, here we have this family who's, making a living being this, functional and fun-loving family. When in reality, it's you got this kind of pageant mom,
right?
Pulling, calling the shots and pulling the strings. Oh, have you seen that show, The Act? on Hulu.
Nope, I don't watch TV.
That shit is wild. There's some wild shit on TV. You missing out on some
No,
wild
I
shit.
don't see that shit.
You missing out on some wild shit. So, not only that, Brittany Zamora. That's the second person on the roll call for this week. Brittany Zamora. She is a married 27-year-old. Married 27-year-old teacher, and she was charged. I don't know what the proper term is, but she had sex with a 13-year-old student in front of another student.
That's disgusting.
And the crazy part about this, you might think that Brittany was like some slouch, like some disgusting looking bitch.
No, she was pretty, wasn't she?
She was attractive enough that should be able to have sex with an adult at least.
Some people are just sick in the head, though.
And, that's one of the things that, when kind of like the R. Kelly or the Michael Jackson conversations come up, we always, skip right over this, but the number of like teachers that, prey or not even prey on, but enter into intimate relationships with students, is more than you think. And, we reserve that actions for like the weirdo teachers, but a lot of times, like I remember I've seen a list of top 100 sexiest teachers who've been,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
there's so many that there's a list of 100 beautiful women who've had sex with a student.
That's disgusting.
Like that is
But
wild.
why is that even something that we're posting? Like that's glorified or something. Like it's okay just because she's pretty.
No, it wasn't. I mean, now the post wasn't glorifying it, but
okay.
it's just saying like, I mean, damn, like look at, you know what I'm saying? Look at these babes who are fucking in jail.
Like they're fucking psycho. Like that's some sick shit to even think to fuck a younger kid.
Not only that, in front of another student.
Some sick shit.
In front of another student. They were having sex, and then like they posted the text messages between the two, and it was some wild shit. She's like, I want you to fuck me. I want you to tear this up. And he like, yo, I'm trying to tear this up. And like the way he was talking, it was like, dog, like where did you learn this at 13? But he was saying all the right shit. Like, yo, I'm trying to be inside you. I wish we could be together all day. Like all types of shit.
That's just crazy.
But of course, he dumb and, he kept these messages. And I think what happened is that other people who knew about it said something and then it got back to the parents. And then his parents were like, yo, let me see your phone real quick. Seen the messages and was like, okay, cool. Hold on. 911. Her name is Brittany Zamora. And they went and locked her up. So
that's crazy. Got
a couple more for the roll call. Clank, clank, clank. So we're gonna take a super, super brief intermission because I want to take a hit of my, my vape pen that I got from Smoke Impressive real quick. So I just haven't had a hit in 45 minutes or so.
Right, that long story.
Right, I want to take a smooth pull from this vape pen that I got from SmokeImpressive.com. That you could have yourself. I do have 2 truths and a con.
Let's get it.
It's the last 2 truths and a con before we play live. April 3rd, Raleigh, North Carolina, Kings at A Sight to See, a variety show featuring a live episode of the Verdict Podcast, the comedic routine of Mike Mello, Q-Median, as well as contributions from spoken word artists, Kingpin Santiago, and Unplug the Love. And the whole thing is hosted by ZZ, formerly of the A-Twins. And there'll also be a performance by 3 a.m. and special guest.
Liddy.
Special guest. So, 2 truths and a con, and then we're done. Scenario number 1. And this, Joseph Macinas, all right, he's charged with human trafficking after he invited a woman to Orlando and forced her into prostitution.
Okay.
Second scenario, man discovers wife of 10 years has run a brothel from their second home.
Okay.
And third scenario, man charged after he invited a young woman from Texas to Orlando via Uber and forced her to have sex with him for 3 days. 2 of those scenarios are true, and 1 is not. Which scenario do you believe to be the con?
The third one.
The third one. The man who
Forced to have sex with him for 3 days.
For 3 days. That is true.
That makes me never want to have sex again.
A man, but hold on. So, not only is that true, right? The story of Joseph Macinas is also true. And the common thing, even though they're both men from Florida, that's not even the common thread. The common thread is that in both scenarios, they are, luring these people who want to get flued out, by a stranger to their home, and then they're being forced into, basically what's prostitution.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but it's just like, okay, at what point are we going to stop encouraging people to get flued out by strangers?
Even if you did implement it, they probably still do it.
So, right. So Joseph Macinas and also Edward Brown is his name. That's the man. They're both men from Florida. Both lured women to younger women to them off of Instagram, saying that they were Instagram famous, saying that they were rich, saying that they had money, and that they would take care of these people. And the crazy thing about it was they went and everything would have been cool if what you said had happened. Like, I mean, think about how logical that sounds. A man hits you in your messages, and I believe that this happens and it's true. But a man hits you in his messages. He's like, yo, look, I don't know you. I think you're attractive. I'm willing to give you money. I'm willing to take care of you and buy you everything you want.
Fairy tale.
All you got to do is come out to fucking, my hotel in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll buy you a bus pass. Like, I mean, how many red flags have gone up before you block this person? Like, I mean, why are you getting on that bus? Like, what kind of person are you to ride an Uber from Texas to Florida?
Because they think that they have money just because they spent that amount to get them there. That's the ignorance behind it. Like,
what kind of person?
He's going to get his whole $200 out of that damn Uber ride.
I mean, right?
You going to fuck the shit out of me, bitch. Okay?
I mean, what did you think was finna happen?
That's disgusting.
It really is. But it's just like, okay, like, come on, man. Like, can we, be smarter about the situations that we put ourselves in?
Yeah, but how did he
Because on Instagram, it's very easy. You're saying things through a filtered screen.
It's not even that part. I'm past that. I get that. What I'm trying to figure out is how the fuck you're fucking for 3 days.
Yeah, he fucked her for 3 days.
Like, are we getting any intermission?
Hey, I don't. I mean,
am I getting a fucking water break or am I drugged the whole time? Because if I'm dead out for 3 days, I'm fine with it. Okay, because I'm not feeling a damn thing. But I can't even. There's no way my pussy's staying wet that damn long. It's not even going to be wet because you're raping me. So this is going to be torture.
I don't think he cared.
Oh my God, that makes me want to fucking flinch. Like, ugh. That's just, like, I'm literally, like, clenching my thighs right now, guys. Like, this shit is, like, disgusting to even think about. That makes me want to cry.
Isn't that outrageous?
Double-barreled shotgun to the fucking face. Bitch, kill me, please.
Isn't that outrageous? Like, just the things that are literally happening. Like,
can I get, like, a reconstructive vagina surgery or something where my whole shit is, like, taken the fuck out and then somebody else put it in? Because
Isn't that called, don't they have those?
They do, but that's to make your shit tighter. I want my whole system taken out after that. Everything. Take it out.
He was a weirdo looking dude.
Throw my whole bottom half away.
So, I mean,
Does his pictures match his Instagram? Was it like live pictures or was that fake too?
You know what? It's crazy. I didn't even search it. After I saw a picture of him, I didn't even need to look at his Instagram. This is a picture of him.
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah, that's a picture of him. I didn't want to look at his Instagram.
He looks crazy. What? He looks like a whole live goddamn
He
psych
looks
ward.
like a
He looks
creep.
like Holly Hill.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking creep. Like, so, I mean, I already knew what time it was.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. So, other than that, if you like this episode of the Verdict Podcast, make sure you come to our live show Wednesday, April 3rd, A Sight to See. You can also rate, review, subscribe on Google Play, iTunes, Spreaker, You can also check out this episode on thehouseofsplash.com. Watch and play all my other content. You can also buy some merchandise. Also, go to smokeimpressive.com, buy some shit over there. Use our code VERDICT for 10% off on your order. That's all I had. Did you have anything else?
No.
All right, dope. So why don't you tell everybody where they can stalk you on the internet?
You already know Instagram, Noanik, Noinek, and then of course Snapchat, Zay_Billion, BYLLION.
All right, and you can fuck with me on the gram and Twitter at House of Splash. Done.
Deuces.